What are we going to start this episode with, John?
You're recording, aren't you?
Yes.
Oh, damn it. So, let me tell you, wrestling got pretty real there the other day. You guys see this?
No, but...
Was this the clip you sent us?
Yeah.
Well...
Where the wrestlers are being too mean to each other.
This is because The Undertaker isn't there anymore to go, hey, no, you can't do that.
There's no one there to run Wrestlers Court.
Who took over that? Does he still do that?
I don't know. Probably not. I think he's retired. But if you're a new listener, Wrestlers Court is a secret court the wrestlers of WWE have when one of them violates one of the many, many rules to professional wrestling. And this can be something like, if you walk into a room, you have to shake everyone's hand in that room. You don't want to do that? Well, guess where you're going, buddy? Fucking Wrestlers Court.
It sounds like a scary, dangerous place.
It's professional wrestling. That's definitely what it is.
I bet it smells so bad there.
Do you ever think we should have like a podcast court, like just to keep us all in line? Because we've been getting pretty loose lately.
Okay, I'm really sorry. I'll go to the fucking podcast court.
Okay.
I'm being a saucy pup.
Okay.
Can we all wear robes?
You can wear robes. I'll have to go fucking naked.
Oh God. Oh God.
Like, it'll both be both of you in robes with paddles, and I'll have to just come in and be like, I'm so sorry. And then you brand me with like a poker, and it just goes tss, and it says bold.
Fair. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Welcome to the Let's Fight a Boss cast. It is Friday, September 3rd? First, god damn it. And you are listening to episode 57, which I'm just going to make a prediction right now. The strongest episode. The strongest episode to the strongest video game podcast. I am sitting here with the person famous for their intensive interrogation techniques. It's Niamh, the truth bringer.
Hi, everyone.
Oh my god.
I don't even have to say anything. It just like comes out of people.
Look, I used to wet the bed. I'm really sorry, okay?
And to her left, the man who emerged one day from the earth only to sprout a beautiful mane of green leaves. It's Bryan, the plant.
Hey everybody, my roots are firm.
And with you always, it's your boy Childbirth, John.
AKA Lunchbox.
AKA Lunchbox, AKA Spicy Lunchbox.
Oh, Spicy Lunchbox!
Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to kick the brand up a little, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of, I've been playing it a little safe, and so...
Hey, we're back at school, there's going to be two kids, and they're going to be like, hey, do you want to trade lunches? And they'll be like, fuck no.
Yep.
I got spicy lunch.
That's a spicy lunchbox. Do you guys ever have dreams anymore about like going back to secondary school or primary school?
I have primary school dreams.
Yeah.
No, never.
Nothing? I definitely have primary school dreams where I'm going back, but I now have the knowledge of a man in my late 20s, and I'm doing things differently.
That's a really satisfying dream. I sometimes wish I could do that. But I never
I
dreamed
regularly
that.
think about that.
Yeah, I know. I do actually go, I wish I could go back in time and tell myself not to do this, not to do that. But I guess those are lessons in life that you learn by, like just little decisions you make that could have gone either way.
Sometimes I wonder though, how much better could you actually do things? Or is your knowledge from now too advanced to actually apply that way at all?
I would go back and stop myself from buying a replica gunblade. So, I feel like I've learned.
I feel like Niamh from back then needs to come forward and help you buy a replica gunblade.
I think she needs to fight beside you with the gunblade.
Yeah, I think you both have you have to clean up these streets.
Yeah. Do not give her a chance.
No, what was she doing? Like, what are you thinking? Where are you going to put that?
She was cool.
It's a very small room. It was made from solid wood.
I really want to see like a cosplay skit where someone has an Akatsuki robe on. I know at some point they throw it back and they have two gunblades under it.
They're the coolest weapon from video games.
Well, they've all the long range capabilities of a gun and all the strength of a sword. So yeah, they're unbeatable. Like there's literally no way to beat them.
They don't actually fire a bullet though.
Wait, what? Like, wait, do you mean
like,
in real life?
Squall's gunblade from Final Fantasy doesn't fire a bullet. It's just vibration or something that makes it cut more.
That's the stupidest thing. That can't be real.
So he's got a trigger, and when he clicks the trigger, it just ups the frequency on it?
Yeah, it's like imagine a chainsaw revving.
So if you took the sword part off that gun, what you would have is a vibrator you pull the trigger of.
He has a vibrator.
Yeah, I mean...
Maybe that's why he's so grumpy all the time.
Yeah, like Squall's like, all right, fucker, you're going down. Oh, yeah.
He's like walking towards Ifrit going down, big boy.
Yeah. Ready to feel this.
Oh, okay. Bryan.
Yeah.
You seem very excited to talk about Death Note.
Oh my god. Death Note, the live action American adaptation, went live on Netflix over the weekend.
We did it, guys. I want everyone to take their Death Note DVD out and just break them over your knee, because we don't need them anymore.
This has been like one of those things that they were developing for like 10 years. At one point, Zac Efron was going to play Light Yagami.
Oh, yeah.
And he had read the first volume and was in an interview going, yeah, it seemed alright. I'm up for it if it happens. Instead, what we got the blind guy from Fault in Our Stars playing a character called Light Turner, who lives in Seattle and finds the Death Note in high school. And
I really wanted them to call him Light Washington.
Is Seattle the goth city of America?
Yeah, it rains there like, I'd say 350 days a year. It's where Kurt Cobain's from. It's grunge.
It's such a teen horror movie location now.
Totally.
This movie is what I wanted Suicide Squad to be last summer. I knew this film wasn't going to be good, but holy shit was it entertaining. Just a really, really fun train wreck.
It was the best not good it could have been.
Yeah.
What was the moment when you realised you loved it? Because I know my one very clearly.
For me, it was when I saw everyone had their phones out and they were all flip phones, and I was like, this movie takes place like 10 years ago. This is so good.
For me, it was the first death, the decapitation, and they really went for it in a way I was not... Like, those are some great practical effects. They rigged a dummy and that thing's fucking head exploded, and that was...
It was way more graphic than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually...
Death is straight out of the Omen as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or like Final Destination deaths.
Yeah.
It really felt like one of those. I love the bit where Light meets Ryuk for the first time, and Ryuk has these powers where you can lock doors and control the weather for some reason.
What was your moment, Niamh?
He's in detention, he's falling asleep, the teacher puts down the books and it kind of wakes him up, and she's like, don't go to sleep, another day will be added. And she leaves the room and he just gets all his books and fucks them on the floor.
there was a lot of like sweeping stuff off tables in the movie. Like, that happened like 4 times.
People kept making messes. Oh, like fucking L? Okay, that is not L from Death Note at all.
I thought he was fucking great.
I thought he was fucking shit.
I thought he was really, really good.
I see. I really like how L is like this weird patient computer, but instead you just got this like guy that couldn't control his temper and pushed someone's face into soup.
That's exactly what he came across to me as, though.
But he kept losing his temper.
No, he only started losing his temper when Watari is...
Watari.
When Watery man.
When he goes missing, that's only when L loses his composure.
He really fucking like that chase scene where he's got his future gun and he's chasing after Light.
Oh, that gun! Oh my god!
It's like Battlestar Galactica. It was so chrome.
Like, I'm reluctant to call it like a bad movie because I was entertained. Like, it's stupid, but it's really fun.
Imagine having no idea what Death Note is and just watching that and not knowing that it's an adaptation of something and just being like, this has got some weird ideas, but it's pretty fresh.
And like, I really liked some of the performances in it. I thought William Dafoe's voice for Ryuk was like fucking brilliant.
Oh yeah, he was really, really good.
And I was really into L. I thought he was great.
Did you like Mia, the girl from The Leftovers?
I honestly just remembered she was in the film when you said that.
Are you kidding me? She's got such a major role. She's the only one who actually makes some big moves with the Death Note, because Light's like a baby.
I don't know if he killed a lot of people.
But she put the spice into it.
Yeah, she was fine.
The bit I really like is when they go to the prom and he's wearing his top hat, but they do 3 different photographs.
What was that about?
And they're just being like a bunch of teens, but in all 3 of her photographs she's doing the same face, but then Light's doing like like giving the finger, doing
that moment really caught me off guard. I was like, what is happening?
And the bit where like it shows him going to his locker to get out the Death Note, but he's got all these like cool stickers and post-its. Like he was so close to having like I don't know, just all this weird goth emo shit.
Yeah.
From 10 years ago.
I didn't really understand how the Death Note worked in this one. Well, I got it, but it was really annoying to me that Mia could use the Death Note from a torn out page. And if that was the case, why was she so obsessed with obtaining the Death Note for herself that she would just like kill a whole pile of people?
Yeah.
Like, did she really want to see Ryuk? Is that it?
It definitely had different rules because in the manga and anime, if you touch the Death Note, then you could see Ryuk. Mm-hmm. And like the whole thing with Light is that he's super secretive, doesn't trust anyone, but right away a girl talks to him, so he's like, "You want to see my Death Note?"
Yeah, and like I can understand why they'd make changes like that because it's like an hour and 40 minutes, and it's like if that's the story they wanted to tell, I get why you'd do that.
My favorite thing about Death Note has always been the game of cat and mouse between Light and L.
Yeah,
we got barely any of that.
No, that wasn't in the film at all.
I think it would have been interesting if that was like a 6-episode series on Netflix.
I think it could have been like genuinely really cool 6-episode thing. As it is though, like I was never bored during the whole thing.
No.
I think like it obviously is not a faithful adaptation of the anime, but like I think if you know what Death Note is and that's what you were going in expecting, I kind of think that's more on you than the film because it's like that was never going to happen.
Earlier this month, I watched Ghost in the Shell. That's really fucking boring.
Yeah.
Like, Death Note is more entertaining than Ghost in the Shell. So that's saying something, I guess. If you haven't watched it already, I highly recommend it. Then go on Twitter and look at all the fucking bullshit. There's some great fan art. Of just people drawing, like, their favorite bits. Or people screen grabbing shit and going, you know, and, like... I think that movie will like belong to this year online. I
feel like it's a good B horror movie. Like it has some like classic bits, like Light screaming.
It's got so many Dutch angles as well.
Yeah, I nearly feel like there's parts of it that are like they're hyper produced to a point where it's like, oh, stop it, just let the camera sit for a minute. I'm tired.
I feel like people are gonna watch this at parties a lot. Like it just has, I feel it has that longevity to it because it's so silly.
Yeah, I think I know someone who would have a birthday party where we would all watch Death Note.
Can I not go to this party?
You have
it's
to go.
Your birthday,
you have to go to your own birthday, John.
I'm not putting that on. I have a very curated A&B playlist that's going to be playing. So I've been going back to my old tricks and I've been watching some shonen anime. The first of which is I watched the first new arc in Dragon Ball Super. Have you watched this, Niamh?
Yeah, I've watched some of it.
It's like the whole Universe 6 tournament with Hit and all that. It's a weird one because like it's nowhere near like as kind of, it's not Dragon Ball Z. Like it's kind of its own thing, and I don't like it as much as Dragon Ball Z like at all. But at the same time, I think it's still getting it done, and it's still kind of like, it's nice hanging out with those characters again, and some of the new characters are really cool. There's this assassin in it called Hit, and his power is basically Dio's power. He can time stop.
Is he human?
No. He's a purple kung fu monster. And I don't know, it's just like, I don't think the series is great. I think the animation quality really, really dips, but it's still kind of, I guess I just think it's kind of fun sometimes.
I think it's really endearing. It's like something to put on, and it's just, you're going to have a fun time.
Yeah, and there's just like some of the character stuff isn't great, and then some of it's really good. Like there's a clip going around, and it's like Goku and Vegeta, and I think it's like Bulma and Chi-Chi are both like shouting at them, and they're both like blah, and then they kind of walk off, and then Goku to Vegeta is like, man, your wife's pretty scary, and then he's like, yes, truly I don't mind that about her. In fact, apparently a lot of Saiyan women used to be like that. And I was like, aw, like, he likes that about her. And there's kind of cute moments like that in it. I'm looking forward to seeing a bit more where it goes, but I have also been watching a little more My Hero Academia, and I think the first arc happened in that I actually kind of gave a shit about. And that's, you know, Bryan, the Stain arc, the Hero Hunter.
Yeah, Stain's cool.
That's when it actually started to get a little interesting, I thought.
That goes into the guy with the with the engine legs and his brother fighting Stain as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that bit's really cool.
And it kind of helped me understand a bit why I don't really connect with that show. And I think I just find the characters, like, they're too good. Like, there's a lot of characters in it, and they're just really, really nice people. And I'm not crazy about that. But then what Stain does is, like, he doesn't like how being a hero is like a profession. He likes heroes to be pure and to be, like, actually good heroes. But of course, he's kind of nuts, so he sees anyone who isn't, like, just in it for heroism as, like, a really bad person who he needs to kill.
Yep.
And it just added, I guess, like, a shade of grey I really felt was missing from that show. And I definitely enjoyed it more than I have done. I still don't feel super connected to the characters. I still don't think, like, Deku is really that interesting or anything like that, but it definitely got me there a little more.
I think after Stain it gets pretty good.
Yeah
it starts kind of trying some ideas. Like, it doesn't get anywhere near Watchmen, but it starts, like, turning back the page and being like, hey, maybe being a hero is this, maybe being a hero is that.
That good, because I'm really enjoying that aspect of it, and it's the first time I feel like the show is really doing anything of its own, like, not just copying, like, exactly lifting from other narrative structures that have been shown in anime before.
Yeah.
And it makes me happy, because I'm happy to enjoy something new. Still don't think it's, like, that great a show, but it's definitely, that arc's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Stain's a cool villain as well. Like, he looks cool.
Yeah. And
he's a Todd McFarlane character design.
Yeah, totally. Brian, have you seen the Game of Thrones finale?
I have. Niamh, have you seen the Game of Thrones finale?
I have.
So we've all seen it.
We've all seen it.
Listeners, have you seen it? Because we're about to fucking spoil it.
Are we going to spoil it?
Yeah.
It's Game of Thrones. You can spoil Game of Thrones. It's okay.
Okay.
It's just part of the cultural hive mind.
We'll leave a link in the description to the point if you want to skip this bit. But zombie dragons, fuck me. Wow.
That was cool.
Yeah.
That show went places this season. It was only 7 episodes. Last episode was almost a feature.
I feel like there was a bunch of trade-offs we made this season, but I felt like each trade-off, there was, like, an equivalency to it where I feel okay with it, Like,
Yeah.
You lost a lot of the character stuff, but I liked the progress you were making, and it was exciting seeing all the different characters kind of meet up and do stuff. And it was way more, like, I guess, Hollywood or action, but I was happy with it. Like, I think I enjoyed every episode this season. The only one I didn't enjoy was the first one, but that's just standard for Game of Thrones.
I really didn't like the last episode.
Yeah.
That was the one with the weird Sansa Arya stuff, which thankfully kind of played out better in the finale.
It did.
Yeah.
I don't think they had enough time to explain how they figured out Littlefinger was up to his hijinks.
Yeah.
Because they didn't seem to have a lot of evidence except that they put him on the spot.
And when they were, like, playing Sansa and Arya against each other, like, me and Michelle were both just like, it's very hard to follow why these are angry at all.
Yeah, it just made no sense for them to have that much hatred for each other, and it wasn't nice to watch either. I was just like, this sucks.
Yeah.
So I'm glad Littlefinger finally went down.
I feel
That was
like
really good.
I feel like Arya's been pretty bad since the whole blind man thing. She was, like, my favorite character before, but I just don't feel like her character's been going anywhere.
I think it's going to be really cool that she's next to Sansa now. Like, she's going to...
She'll probably be the Royal Guard of the North.
Yeah.
Like,
That'd
she's
be
going to
cool.
be Sansa's bodyguard.
That'd be cool.
And she's such a cool idea for a bodyguard because she won't, like, join in any of the political strategy stuff. Like, that's not interesting to her. I thought there was going to be a bit with the Sansa Arya arc where Littlefinger was going to be, like, talking shit about Arya, but it was going to be Arya disguised as Sansa.
Yeah, I thought there would be more faceless man stuff. She didn't do it at all. I liked how this episode had a lot more slower pace to it, because the other ones were, like, they did get a lot done, but I think 20 to 30 minutes at the start when they were all meeting really kind of set the tone for it.
That was very satisfying. They didn't rush that bit at all.
Yeah, and I was also glad that, like, at the end of the last episode we were quite far away from that, and I kind of just wanted to see it this season. I wanted to see Daenerys and Cersei in the same place, and I was really happy we did. I thought it was a bit weird that, like, the dragon shows up and everyone was like, and then the zombies shows up and everyone's like, whoa!
I kind of wish there was like a big death this season from one of the kind of protagonists. Like I kind of wish
I was expecting one.
Yeah, and they didn't do it. Like
I guess the dragon.
Yeah, and that did feel pretty big to me.
But you know, like one of the main paid actors
they
getting
kept
bumped off.
cutting to Davos the entire episode, and he'd never say anything. They just keep cutting to him for reaction shots, and I was like, are they keeping him in mind for us because they're going to kill him? But then they didn't.
He gets paid really well just for standing there.
Yeah, he's great at it. I like whenever he says anything.
Yeah, you're Chris.
What was your guys' favorite reunion from? Because like I feel like we've gotten so many this season.
Sansa and Arya.
That
like
was...
I felt that was married. I was really, really excited for them to meet up again. But I'm really happy they're together.
My favorite was Brienne and the Hound.
Same. That was my favorite too.
And they see each other and it's like...
But like they're cool.
Yeah,
it's like, you know, it's no big deal.
Yeah, they're just two guys that like to fight.
When the Hound was like, I was trying to protect her too. I like that as well. Like, the Hound is, you know, he's a sweetheart underneath it all.
He really, really cares for those two girls. He just doesn't know how to express it at all. I really, really like when Tyrion, because he's such a well-travelled man, like just got to see everyone again.
Yeah.
Like I really like when he saw Podrick Payne again.
Oh, that was so cute.
And
I liked Bronn, him and Bronn.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
Yeah. I feel like the Hound, that actor, is so good at cursing. Like, he can make curse words sound so dirty.
Yeah.
Because he kind of spits them.
Yeah, they're all muddy.
Yeah.
Fuck off. He's Scottish, and he's in Hot Fuzz as well as the guy that goes, yarp.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I really liked when he went up to the mountain at the start. That was like, that got the tension good and high.
I'm sure next season they'll definitely fight.
The mountain is just nemesis of Game of Thrones. It's ridiculous. He's so funny. He's such a boss character.
Yeah.
I really liked how Cersei's hand of the queen, Lord Qyburn, who's an ex-maester because he got kicked out for doing too much zombie shit. He sees the zombie, the white, and he's like, cool.
Yeah, he runs over and picks up the hand, and like I was like, don't let him near that. He actually really like scares me, that character. I think he's like one of the most like intimidating characters in the whole thing because he's fucked up.
No one likes a necromancer.
No, and like he's also the like doctor for Cersei because she's pregnant. So he's like, yeah, I guess he's taking care of that as well, which
gonna be a zombie baby.
Yeah, I do not let him near something that's got life in it. You want him for death, not life.
I liked the bit where Jon Snow was like, "Who said you couldn't have a baby?" to Daenerys, and she was like, "The witch who killed my husband." Because I never really added that up. And he was like, "That's stupid," and she was like, "Yeah."
Okay, so I guess the big thing this season, but I guess it's always been pushed, but really they were pushing for it this year. Incest is okay, everyone. It's okay to have sex with your aunt.
Jon Snow and Daenerys are related.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys about a very special anime called Selector Infected. No, that's as far as I'm going.
Okay. So you know how the final, or very, very much towards the end, Samwell and Bran swap and they do their info dumps. Mm-hmm. And then Bran kind of time travels back and he goes to his mind palace and goes, oh yeah.
You love the mind palace, don't you,
I would love to have a mind palace. I've got like a mind shed, but I'm going to try and get a mind palace.
I have like a mind skateboard.
Sweet tricks, bro. So Daenerys' eldest brother was Rhaegar Targaryen, who married Lyanna Stark, and their son is Jon Snow. So Jon Snow and Daenerys are the same age, but Daenerys is Jon's aunt, technically.
I feel like you're phrasing that in a...
No.
This is Game of Thrones. They're all doing that consistently.
Daenerys' parents, the Mad King, was married to his sister. So it just seems like incest is the way to go.
But 1 in 5 of them are crazy.
Yeah. So that's okay.
Bryan, that's a really high percentage.
It's fine. There's plenty of death going around.
Guys, I can't do this anymore. I can't sit here and just talk nonsense this entire time when there's actual important things we got to talk about. Guys, it's President Evil.
From the leading name in biotechnology comes Regenerate, the breakthrough from the Umbrella Corporation. Umbrella Corporation.
Resident Evil.
So this is Resident Evil Apocalypse, the 2004 sequel to the original Resident Evil movie. Okay, initial thoughts. What a massive improvement on the original Resident Evil movie. I had a blast with this movie. I loved it.
It's fucking cool.
Such a cool movie. It's just so perfect, like right from the get-go. All like the long hallway, let's figure it out scenes from Resident Evil 1, totally gone. This is just like really dumb character stuff or really fun action. And yeah, this was a really fun time.
I think it might be the best one.
I think it might be.
Did you like Jill?
I mean,
the way she's introduced in the police station, she's just sitting on the chair and she's bored. Is that how she's introduced?
She goes into the police station and she shoots every zombie in the head that's there.
Jill was perfect.
Like, she looks just like her.
I'm a fan of Jill Valentine. I think Jill Valentine's really, really cool. And this actor, she looked so good. Like, she came on screen and I said out loud, "Oh my god!" Because I'm pathetic.
Perfect Jill.
She's perfect, and she looked really good in that outfit. Fair play to her.
Did you notice that Alice has the best jeans situation ever? Her jeans get blown off, but just at the knees. So she kind of has sock part of her pants and then the upper part of her pants, and there's just no knee segment. It's her character design is so hilarious. She's a fishnet top as well.
I love how far they took the self-insert Alice stuff, where in the first movie she goes from kind of being able to kick the shit out of a dog that was half dead, to literally beating the fuck out of one of the most dangerous things in the entire film with her bare hands. She just goes toe to toe with a nemesis and rocks his face off.
What'd you think of Nemesis?
It was really fun. I was watching this with Michelle as well, and I was like, I hope he says it. I hope he says it. I hope he says it. And then he just goes, "Stars," and I was like, ah!
He's really cute in that film.
He is actually really cute.
He looks like a big potato.
His big silly rocket launcher.
His orthopedic shoes.
Oh, his orthopedic shoes.
Is that what you call them?
Yeah.
He's got an inward step. He needs to wear corrector shoes. Because his posture needs help, okay?
Oh. It was really fun. And all the little side characters, they all had so much more personality than the first one as well. I can't remember the name of him, but the guy, the bit where it was so cool, where there's all these members of Stars and they're with one civilian, and the nemesis sees them all and he shoots them with his minigun. And he kills all the Stars except for the one civilian, because that's not a member of Stars, and that's what a fucking good shot he is.
Whoa.
It was a treat. I'm like, oh no, is this it? Is this the peak of Resident Evil?
No.
But then I know that we have a film featuring the greatest fictional character of all time, Albert Wesker, and we have the CG movies. So that I know you watched one of the CG movies, Brian.
I did.
We will get to that.
Oh, we will.
That is very important business. So just hold off for a couple more episodes and we'll do it. Guys, closing thoughts on Resident Evil, one of the greatest movies ever made, probably.
Yeah.
How many Oscars did it win?
Won 15 Niamh Oscars, and it won 2 Bryan Oscars.
Okay. 4 John Oscars.
Wow.
Yeah, I was giving out a couple last week.
Okay, and you know the way you're a bit fussy about the lore of Resident Evil with the little girl stuff? How did you feel about finding out that Angie was the Red Queen?
In the context of the movies, I don't care at all. That's fine. But are you talking about Resident Evil 7?
Yeah.
That's still terrible. And it's not the crossover with the movies that bothers me. It's just that 2017, spooky little girl with long black hair.
It's the best, John. It's necessary.
Niamh,
see,
I can't fight. I don't have the strength to fight you on this again.
There's nothing scary about a little girl. Or is there? Did you get it? It's such a good idea.
Guys, we have a job to do here, and we need to put this on the official Resident Evil ranking board. Okay.
It's a tough decision, but I think it should be number 1.
Last episode, you gave the first movie 2 umbrellas out of 5, so...
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to fill this episode with math, So I've spent pretty much the entire day crunching all the numbers over this and figuring out where it would land. And guys, I have some shocking news. I'm awarding Resident Evil Apocalypse 5 umbrellas out of 5.
Holy shit,
God.
that's so nice.
Yep.
Stars.
I bet someone who did like a small bit of VFX in a film listens to this podcast and he's like, that's a minor victory.
Oh, I'm pretty sure anyone involved in the video game industry listens to this podcast. So yeah, totally.
Yeah. What's up, Hideo Kojima?
Hey, Cliff Blazinski, I'm really sorry about Lawbreakers.
I'm not.
Obviously, there's a downside to that, and that means that 2001's Resident Evil, guys, it's the worst Resident Evil movie of all time as of right now. But Resident Evil Apocalypse, the best Resident Evil movie of all time.
That's how logic works.
That's how logic works. We're going to be obviously revisiting Resident Evil next episode for... What's the next one? Is it Retribution?
No. Extinction.
Resident Evil Extinction.
Oh, this is the Mad Max Wasteland one.
Yeah. This is so good.
This is where...
It's the last of it being a movie.
I don't understand that statement, but I cannot wait to find out what it means.
This is the one I didn't see, but I was in college at the time and I saw trailers for it every time I went to see a cheap college film.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That man. Is
Does that
Wesker
sound-
in this one?
Yeah. Is he? Yes, he is. Okay, so.
Yeah. Well, that'll be fun. Let's move on into strategy talk. Niamh, how has the quest been going for a dream daddy?
See what he did there?
You know, good. This game has got some great writing in it. I met my daddy. His name is Elijah. And we went on some dates.
He's Raven from Tekken.
Yeah, okay, he does look exactly like Raven.
Exactly like Raven.
When I first started playing the game, I felt my dad had like this connection with Matt. Like they felt like they were like just getting on really well. And then we went on a date, and after the date you get a rating, and he gave me a B. And every other dad I've been with has given me an A. And I can't help but feel like a little bit hurt by this. So I guess the writing's good.
Yeah, I'm still pretty early on in it. I'm only just about to go to the barbecue, which is when I think things start to move.
Mm-hmm. I messed up at the barbecue, so I'm going to give you some advice.
Oh yeah?
Like, the barbecue's narrative is kind of you being an anxious dad, and your daughter, Amanda, is kind of like, Dad, don't be such an anxious loser. And you get an option to hang out with the dads or eat a burger. And I kind of felt it was, I don't know, it made more sense to eat the burger and not talk to anyone.
Niamh.
But, like...
I'd eat a burger.
But then the game kind of, like, that's it, the barbecue's over and you don't get to talk to anyone. But the game kind of acts as if you did. So now I'm like saying stuff like, oh, it was great to talk to you at the barbecue.
Oh, weird.
And I was like, no, we didn't talk at all. Or
Yeah.
Mary was kind of mean to me at the barbecue, seemingly, but that didn't happen in my game, but all the dialogue pertains to...
Oh, that sucks. I guess they thought that no one would eat the burger.
Then why make it an option? And now I'm like,
that's
it
totally
sucks.
fair.
And they should have written the game as alternatively if you eat the burger.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like I messed up. Like, there was 3 options, I picked one of 3, and I kind of feel like it's messed me up a bit.
Yeah, that totally feels like a path they didn't get to implement, which is kind of strange. So you're feeling Matt.
I'm feeling Matt so far, yeah.
But I mean, the fact that he wasn't totally into straight away, just it's tough enough to crack.
It was a really great date. He was very charming. I don't know. It was his fault.
I don't know if this is starting to sound a little...
Stop getting so defensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That date went badly, and I feel like it was my fault. Yeah.
Did you get an invitation early on in that game? Did you go for it?
No, what invitation?
You know, when you're out at the bar with the guy, and he's like, "You want to come in?"
That didn't happen for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I must be better at guys with you than you, Niamh.
Yeah, probably.
You have more experience.
That's true. But I don't know which dad I like best. I think I really like Matt, but I think that's definitely a more friend thing. He's into indie music.
I know. But he
Yeah.
did say he liked Tegan and Sarah, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's true. I liked the guy. I kind of liked the guy in the bar, but he kind of rushed me a little. I like to be kind of courted a little bit.
This is the tough guy, right?
Yeah. I did like him, but
You go on a date with him that I think you'll enjoy.
yeah.
Yeah. He has a switchblade and he throws rocks.
Man, that sounds perfect.
It's really romantic.
That's really hot.
Do you think you'd play this game at all, Brian?
I'd like to play it at some point, yeah.
I think the way they write the character is kind of like, it's something we've talked about before, where like the dad you play as, he does, I feel like, have a set personality, which I always find a little difficult to click with then, and I think this guy in particular is so different to me, I really find it hard to put myself in his shoes, because he's like, yeah, ska.
Yeah, I don't find him relatable at all.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to roleplay this dude.
Yeah, I kind of think I would have preferred if they'd blank slated him a little more, and just... Yeah.
Especially, like, he was really mean to a character, my dad, and I was just like, I would never play him like that, but okay.
How detailed are the facial expressions? Like, I assume there's neutral smiling and neutral kind of angry, just that kind of...
It's like Persona, they slide out, like, about 4 different expression tiles.
Okay.
And Danganronpa, pretty much.
And Danganronpa trees out in, like, three or 4 weeks.
Oh, fuck, I can't... God, I love 2 so much, I can't wait for that.
I'm actually really excited about a bunch of games that are coming out this month in September. Never mind.
We'll get to that. But yeah, like, I think it's really cute, and I think it's really enjoyable. I'm happy it exists. I was in... I took a little break to a place recently, and I had 2 games with me. I had that and Lisa, and those are 2 perfect counterbalances to each other, because Lisa's like an emotional nightmare. It's like punishing, and it's also probably one of my favorite games I've ever played. Bryan, we hold Mother 3 in pretty high regard.
Yeah.
I would say I like Lisa about as much as I like Mother 3.
That's pretty high.
That game does some shit. Like, that game makes you feel despair like nothing ever has. And it started out as like, an Earthbound fan thing, and it's the kind of whole thing is like, you're playing as this character Brad, and the further you get into the game, the further it's like Brad isn't actually really a good guy at all. Not like he's super evil or anything, but the reason...
He's done some shitty things.
You do some shitty things. Like, you do... There's characters in the game who are like really evil and really corrupt and really want to fuck with you. Like, there's this one character, and whenever he came on screen, I was like, oh, Jesus, no. Like, here we go again. Because either I'm going to have to do something, I'm either going to have to cut off my arm, I'm going to lose all my items, or he's going to kill someone in my party. There was one bit where he was like... He gave me a bunch of really shitty options, and I had the option just to be like, why are you doing this? Like, why do you keep doing this to me? And I asked him that, and so he did everything on the list. And it was so awful. And he has really good... I read into who that character was and why he was acting this way, and he had like really good narrative justification for being this awful person. But... oh, Jesus, it was so good. And it was so funny as well. Like, it was one of the funniest games I've played in so long. Like, you meet the Power Rangers in that game, and one of them is, like, really lazy and doesn't want to do any of the poses, and the other all get pissed off with them. And it's just... you meet a cult, and they worship the last McDonald's on Earth, and they speak into the drive-thru box, and, like Happy Meals descend down from on high with, like, divine rays, and seeing... how that stuff works. It was just like this really amazing post-apocalypse where all this crazy stuff was happening. But I think where it's so successful is after a while you realize that Brad isn't like a silent protagonist meeting all these like crazy fucked up people. He's just another crazy fucked up person in the world. And it was one of the best experiences I've had in games with so long, and I really, really love that game. And if anyone... I pray it comes to PS4. I think you'd really like it, Brian. I'm not sure it'd be your thing, Niamh. I'd love you to give it a shot, but I'm not sure. I think you'd love it, Brian. I think you'd... There are so many bits in it, and I was like, wow, Brian. This is sure up Brian's alley.
I do like fucked up shit.
You do, yeah. You can be a prostitute in that game if you want. But, like, in a world... You're a man in a world full of men, and that's...
That's all I want.
That's all you want. Oh god, it was just great. It was really, really good. I hope it comes to PS4. I hope more people get to play this game, because it's brilliant.
How long was it?
10 hours.
That's nice, thanks. I'm sure it'll come to PS4. Like, fucking Undertale came to PS4.
Yeah,
I give it a year or two, it'll definitely...
I hope so, because like Lisa actually came out before Undertale, like about a year before, so I'd be a little doubtful, but god, I'd be so happy if it did. And it has a sequel called Lisa the Joyous, where you play as the little girl Buddy, and I'm going to save that for a nice dark winter evening, and I'm just going to play through the whole thing, and I cannot wait. People should go check out that game. Niamh, you've been on a quest to find your dream daddy.
Stop doing that.
Niamh, I feel like you have a lot to say
free.
about Nier.
I finished it all. Oh, it's hard to describe this game because it's really sad, but it's really beautiful. There's nothing nice happens in that last playthrough for anyone. Like, it's not a good time. It's a really sad time. But it was one of the most affecting journeys I've been on in a video game. Like, it's...
You've called it, like, one of your favourite games ever.
Yeah, completely. It's...
Nier of Automata.
Nier of Automata.
Yeah. So I did C ending, and then I did D ending. And D ending was, I'm going to say, like, straight up vicious. Like, there was something really brutal in that. And then E ending happens. And E ending has been kind of spoken about a lot because you have an option to give up a save file. And it just ends with this moment of coming together, just the game creators, you, the player, and everyone else who's ever played this game. Just all together in this one moment to complete like a single player narrative. And it works so well. I've never experienced anything like that before. And it was really like a beautiful, emotional send-off for 50-something hours I spent in a game. And I don't really want to say too much about it because like I only heard it was something to do with a save. And
which was something he did in the last game as well.
Yeah.
So it's nothing new. Like I think a lot of people knew that was going to come.
Yeah, you can
because it's a trope of his at this point.
Mm-hmm. But it's how he gets you there, and just messages from people around the world, like kind of support and stuff, like just flash up on the screen, and you get to put your message out there. It had this really profound connecting experience while being completely alone and playing a game alone.
I think the quote I heard from about that section was he wanted to, and I haven't done it so I don't know what it is, but he wanted to create an experience that you couldn't really get through a Let's Play. Like it had to personally come from you.
Yeah, I think you can't get this experience from any other piece of media. This is like something that a game could only do, and a game connected to the internet could only do. Like it exists perfectly as what it is, and this could not happen in a film. The power of that moment is a purely gaming moment, and that made it really cool as well.
That sounds really, really fucking cool.
I'm about 15 hours into the game. I'm on Route B at the moment, but I'm only at the very beginning of Route B. But yeah, so far I'm really, really enjoying it.
I'm really excited for you to get there.
Yeah.
Route B is really fun though. I like playing as Nines a lot.
Yeah, he's cool. How about you, John? Where are you in it?
I finished Route C. I think I was definitely very harsh about it in the last podcast. And a lot, I think, of what I wanted from that game, I started getting a lot more of in Route C. I feel like Route A and B, it's very much about like these very kind of broad concepts about identity and stuff like that. And in Route C, I feel like those concepts start to manifest themselves in really personal ways for the characters, which I found, I guess, a lot more accessible. There's still things about the game that bother me, but I think it's kind of impossible to acknowledge that it's anything other than a fascinating game, and I do think people should play it. It's definitely doing stuff that I've never seen anything else do, and I think part of the frustration with it is I am, for whatever reason, not grasping everything it's going for, and that's a frustrating feeling. But enough people whose opinions I trust are obviously getting a lot out of it, like Niamh and then like other journalists. And so I do think like it is a very, very special game, and I'm looking forward to continue wrestling with it and see where I end up with it.
It's okay to play that game on easy if you just want to just play it for the story and content.
What did you think, Niamh?
I really liked the difficulty level. I think whatever way I played it, it was probably the optimum way to play it, because I never felt too powerful that it wasn't engaging, but I felt powerful enough that I could like play around with stuff. I really liked using a gravity pull move and then hacking a robot in the gravity pull, because then it'll explode everyone together, and it was fun making these kind of little tactics.
Do you know another thing I thought about our whole conversation with it? I think because I did so few side quests, I was a bit left with like I have like 2 pods, and they're not that interesting. It's just the basic shooting one and the rocket launcher one. And I think if I had more pods, that would have given me more opportunity to change up my strategies in combat. But as is, most of the combat for me was just ///dodge ///dodge.
And you can really spam that dodge button as well.
Yeah.
Like if you're fighting a more difficult enemy and they just want to do their whole routine, the whole attack routine, and you've got to sit through 6 seconds of attack animation, you can just spam dodge.
If you time it well and you have the plug-in for a counter, you can do a really powerful move back, which is really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I got a lot out of the battle system. I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the difficulty level of it.
I don't know what level I'm at. I can't remember. I think I'm like high 20s, and I'm at the start of Route B, which I think is good.
Yeah, I finished it around level 56 or something.
Wow.
Yeah. I think I want to give it a break for a while.
No.
And then I think I want to start it again.
Oh, okay. Maybe that would be a good idea.
Because I feel like I love the idea of what you're describing with Route E. And I think Nier was such a big game for me that I want to give this another shot. And I think maybe just like I've been really busy and had a bunch of stuff going on recently, and I want to just... I know everything. I know where to go now. I know everything to do in that game, and so I want to try and like go through it quicker, but also experience some of this more of the side content, because I want to see where this falls for us in Game of the Year, because obviously it's going to be a pretty high contender. Brian, tell us about your dream daddies in Splatoon 2.
Yeah, I'm just playing more Splatoon 2. Playing the multiplayer in that is so fantastic. I think if you own a Switch, you should probably own this game, honestly.
Yeah.
I was thinking back because the Switch has been out 6 months now. At the start of September, it'll be out 6 months. And I think the first 6 months of a console is always super interesting. Because, for example, with the PS4, the first 6 months was fucking shit.
Yeah.
The first year and a half was
The first
shit.
year and a half was shit. But like...
Bloodborne came out and things started to get better.
Yeah, that was March 2015, and PS4 came out in November 2013. Like that it was a year and a half. But I just think like in the first 6 months of the Nintendo Switch, it's got some pretty interesting titles. Like some of them are Wii U ports, some of them are Wii U re-releases. Splatoon 2 definitely feels like they're using the Splatoon assets. But it's just such a well-designed game for online, and the handheld appeal of that, it's fantastic.
They're curating it well, like what games they're deciding to port over.
Yeah, for sure.
Just to Sky as well. It's such a perfect fit for it.
Yeah,
They should just like make it an RPG machine. Everyone would be happy.
Oh, yeah. I don't know like if Nintendo would go that direction, but like fucking waifu dating sim games.
No.
Why not, Niamh? Why not?
If they got like Love Plus, do you remember those games?
Yeah.
I think they should really push for that.
Would you not just play a game of Love Plus, Niamh?
Yeah, it's like I even really like the single player, and I like Salmon Run. I didn't think I'd like Salmon Run, but it's really good.
See, remember I was like, that looks cool.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's really, really good.
John was right, everyone.
John was right. John likes to be right. Sometimes John's wrong, and he gets real butthurt about it, though. But that's fine.
I can't believe you've been playing Battle Unknown.
Battle Unknown.
Sorry.
Battle Unknown.
PlayerUnkown's Battlegrounds. Hey,
Battleman Unknown.
John likes to stream games.
It's true. I'm a live streamer. Look up Streamy Boy 90. It's my tag. Things get pretty wild over there, so if you're afraid of hearing curse words, don't even bother.
Is this the most like streamed game of 2017?
Oh, for sure. Like without doubt.
Yeah, I've watched a few streams. Like I never want to play this game, but I've seen it.
Yeah, what made you play it? This is what I want to know.
I wanted a game to play with my cousin. Yeah.
I could see your cousin agreeing to this one.
Yeah, this is Street Fighter 5 in taking, guys. So, I've only played a couple of games. I came number 4 in one of them, which I thought was...
That's really good. That's
yeah.
really, really good.
I killed 3 people, and I was
Sweet.
like, wow. It's cool. It's an early access game, and it sure feels like it. Like, the movement in it is very stiff and awkward. There's a bunch of stuff not really working the way it should. The, like, general concept, if you don't know, PlayerUnkown's Battlegrounds is basically Battle Royale. It's 100 people parachute onto an island. No one has any weapons, and you have to just find them around the map.
Yeah, you've got to scavenge material, weapons, health packs.
Yep, all that kind of stuff. And so this leads to like a lot of very memorable situations. Like me and Bryan both jumped off the plane.
This is cousin Bryan,
Cousin
not,
Bryan.
not podcast Bryan.
Not podcast Bryan. We were kind of just standing there being like, what do we do? And then another character who must have got separated from his teammate just like landed next to us. and we both just like looked at each other and then ran over and started punching him and just like punched him down onto his hands and knees. And this was our first game, so neither of us knew the button for crouch, so we were both just like swinging at him on the ground, but we couldn't hit him because we weren't low enough until I finally found the button to crouch and got down on my knees and punched him to death. And it's undeniably like really fun. Like it leads to a lot of good situations like that. Like me and Bryan were clearing out this abandoned village, and these two guys, one guy attacked Bryan and I got him from far away, but then his partner came out and killed Bryan, and I snuck up behind him and I had a shotgun and I was just about to kill him, and I pulled the trigger and I just started going click 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 because I hadn't put any bullets in it.
Shit.
But I still got him. I managed to switch to another weapon, and stuff like that is really fun. I really enjoyed it multiplayer. Single player a little less so, because what can happen is a game can take maybe 20 or 30 minutes to play out in full. And so because the map is so big and like the map's huge, like it's not a death match, it's a really, really big swath of land. Sometimes you can land very far away from anyone, spend like 10 to 15 minutes like looting all the surrounding houses, and then like running towards the center, because as the game continues, the walls enclose and you have to like...
And if you go outside that space, your health starts depleting like immediately.
Yeah.
So you have to go inside that ring, and the ring decreases every few minutes.
Yeah, so they're tightening all the remaining survivors into the one area.
Yeah.
But I did have a few games where it felt like, 15 or 20 minutes of just running through fields and just not really meeting anyone.
I definitely think that's better if you do a multiplayer.
Yeah, and then when a game like that ends with you being shot in the head by someone you didn't see, that's not a great experience.
No.
And I don't know how they fix that, or if that's the problem people really care about, because this seems so popular. But yeah, it's a fun game. I'm not super taken with it, but I'm happy to play multiplayer in this. Like if this was on PS4 and you guys were both playing, I'd probably download it just so that we could play together, because that would be fun.
It's coming to Xbox.
Niamh has an Xbox.
I guess we're all buying Xboxes.
We could get the, what's it called? The Xbox One X. Is that what it is?
Yeah, Scorpio.
We may as well get it for Cuphead.
The Xbox One X, or just say Xbox for short.
The
box coming out in November. That's crazy. It's so soon.
You gonna get it, Niamh? There's no point asking you that question, because there's no answer you can give that's dependable. Because you either say yes and you're going to get it, or no, but you still might get it.
Niamh's silly with tech.
Yeah. Did you see the version that there was a limited edition Project Scorpio one?
Oh, cool.
Project Scorpio and green writing just on the front of it.
I love that stuff. I'd love if they did one of like the GameCube, but it said like Dolphin.
Yeah.
I love prototype names.
Do you know the Dreamcast one?
The Nightmare.
Katana.
Katana.
What are you even talking about? No, it's not.
That is the worst code name ever.
It's not.
Niamh's swords are so cool.
It's so cool. It's Japanese steel. It's been folded on itself 1,000 times.
John's vibrating sword.
No.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
Brought it all
Quicktime Events. Swery's next game, The Good Life, is a slice of life RPG. So straight off the bat, delighted Swery's back. The industry needs him.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah. He's here to save video games.
He's finally here to save video games. Overwatch, you can go now.
This is so unexpected. Like a slice of life cat game.
Yes, I agree. But in a way, is that not the most Swery thing in the world?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's perfect.
Do you play as like a farmer, or what do you do?
Okay, this is how it's described. At night, all of the town's residents turn into cats. Why does this happen? Is this why everyone in town is so happy? No one seems to remember what they do at night. Naomi is here to find out what's going on in Rainy Woods. And Naomi is your player character who also can turn into a cat.
So the only thing that throws me for a loop with this one is like, Swery's last two games have been insane. Like, they've been so weird. And that's a pretty weird premise, but not weirder than your average mobile game, I don't think. Is he leading us down a rabbit hole here? Like, is there a swerve coming?
Are you making a clicker?
Yakuza 2 Kiwami.
This leaked last week via PSN because they put up some images and they had the pre-order up, but it wasn't meant to go up yet. And then they had to like quickly rush together the trailer and announce it formally. I think it's only out, or I think it's only kind of set for Japan, but Yakuza
Yakuza's doing well over here now.
It does well in the West, so it'll come out in the West.
It didn't used to, but I think
it's kind of crazy. We're living in the Yakuza times.
Yeah, so the first Yakuza 1 game is out this week on PS4. So the first 2 Yakuzas were on the PlayStation 2, and then Yakuza 3 was on the PS3. We haven't had a proper Yakuza game yet for the PS4 until Yakuza 6.
Yakuza 0?
Well,
it's not a mainline one. It's prequel.
The resources went into that, though.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, it's not...
It's the Dragon engine they're using for 6.
Is that the new one?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I guess this one is probably closer to Yakuza 0 in terms of production quality. And but it seems like a really like... from what I've seen of Yakuza 1, the remake, it seems like they did a really cool job of like completely remastering a PS2 game.
They really seem to give a shit about this series. Like, I was stunned by like the effort that went into Yakuza 0. Like, it's such a beautiful game and it's so well produced.
My girlfriend Rebecca is a big Sega fan, and Sega are doing pretty well this year. They have a Hatsune Miku Project Diva game like nearly every 6 months. They have 2 amazing Sonic games out this year. One's already out, the other one out so fucking soon. I cannot wait.
Sonic Forces.
I cannot wait to play as Bryan the guinea pig.
The only thing that stresses me about Sonic Forces is like, how are we going to decide between Nier Automata and Sonic Forces for Game of the Year?
Well, what you do is you take Nier Automata out back, get him drunk and leave him in the forest.
Yeah.
And you fucking get back
Shotgun to the back of the head. Sorry, buddy.
You get back to Sonic Forces.
Yeah, definitely.
Like a good Christian.
I think I could probably pass the Yakuza 1 remake, but the Yakuza 2, I've heard a lot of good stuff about that game. I would... Depending on where that releases in the vicinity of Yakuza 6 and stuff, because that's the next like must-buy Yakuza game for me.
Yeah.
Because as much as I love Yakuza 0, they're big, long games, and they don't change that much, and so I don't want to oversaturate myself with Yakuza Kiwami.
The gameplay is pretty repetitive. Street thugs.
Yeah, and like I love beating up street thugs, but...
Sometimes they're in your way.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, oh Jesus, not again, and that's exactly what Yakuza 3 and 4 are like as well.
Do you think they might be releasing these games too close together for how big they are?
They're releasing a Yakuza game every 6 months at the moment.
Yeah, and these games are huge.
Yes, and Yakuza 0 is damn near my top of my list this year, but even I'm like, no, I'm good until Yakuza 6. Like, I have no interest in picking up Yakuza Kiwami.
Because if you want to jump in, you're going to play 0, you're going to play the remake of the first ones that's just out, 6 is going to happen, and then next year is 2. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a lot of Yakuza time.
It's a lot of Yakuza.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think, like, I guess Sega are doing alright. They're having a good time.
I guess so. I'm kind of just like, slow it down a little. Like, don't saturate your audience.
But then, I guess that brings us to our next point. Like, what if Sega?
Okay, we made fun. I made fun of Shenmue 3 on a podcast in the last couple episodes at one point. And I remember we got a comment from someone. I'm not making fun of you, but we got a comment being very much like, well, actually, that seems to be going fine, and everything's great with Shenmue 3. There's no reason to be concerned. And I'm a backer of Shenmue 3. I am very happy Shenmue 3 is happening. But wow, this trailer. Wow. Oh my god. And like, I'm delighted. I love how it looks. This is what I wanted. But those characters, how did anyone look at this and be like, yes, this is what we should put out? Like, the character models look worse than they did before.
That's what you want, though.
Oh, I'm happy with it because I understand what Shenmue is and why it's important. It's a silly, broken, like, open world prototype that I love. Shenmue 2, one of my favorite games ever. But it's a silly game. Like, I'm never going to be like to either of you guys, you gotta play Shenmue. I might force you to sit beside me for a couple of hours one night as I play it, but that's as far as it'll go.
I'm not sitting beside you while you play Shenmue 3.
Oh, that's what you think.
I don't like doing sleepovers anymore.
Let me tell you about a little show called The Greatest Game of All Time.
The trailer didn't have any facial animation in it. So they ask him afterwards why, and he says they took it out for the trailer. That they really did offer up that trailer with no facial animation.
The funniest part about that, though, is Ryo, the main character, Shenmue. Like, one thing I love about Shenmue is you are pretty much playing as Kung Fu Hank Hill. Like,
but he's a teenager, isn't he?
He's a teenager, and he's the most Like,
is he just super fucking neutral? Though,
he's just beyond neutral. He's wooden. Like, he's completely wooden. He's like, oh, hello. Can you help me find the sailors? I am looking for the sailors. I know karate. My father is dead, and I feel sad about that. And I like to a point that I find him really endearing because it's just really silly.
And it's Deep Silver who are publishing it, and they publish a lot of waifu bullshit in the West. Yeah, they do a lot of anime trash. So I guess Shenmue 3 is gonna be all right.
The lighting looked nice.
I thought the like environmental modeling looked good, like all that stuff. But
Some good texturing.
That made the character stuff all the weirder.
It was just like a weird puppet doll being acted in front of the camera.
Shenmue, guys.
And this has nothing to do with Sega.
No, this is all Yu Suzuki, who is a man we should respect because he made one of the greatest fighting game series of all time.
What?
Virtua Fighter.
Oh, okay.
I mean, come on, guys. Virtua Fighter, guys, come on. You're saying Wolf Hawkfield doesn't mean anything to you? Jeffrey McWild, Jackie Byrne, these characters, these myths of legend.
They sound like shitty Irish politicians.
Yeah. Sarah
Brown?
Bryant.
Bryant, that's my name with a
Sister
T.
of Jackie Bryant, the race car driver who enters fighting tournaments for some reason.
They're also iconic.
Yeah. Jurel, the woman made of steel. Come on, guys.
It seems like you really thought about these characters.
Oh, like you wouldn't believe. Moving swiftly along. Bryan, what's next on the chopping block?
There's going to be no DLC for Mass Effect Andromeda. Sorry, everyone.
Sorry, Niamh.
This makes me like sad just because this is the state of Mass Effect.
They fucked up.
This DLC was meant to happen in the game. All the other alien races aren't there, and you're told they're on a missing arc. And that's the DLC. That was the DLC. And we heard this rumor, and now it's official. It's not happening. And this is the first out of the 4 Mass Effects that's going to have no single player DLC. They're just like, it's just dead. They just destroyed Mass Effect.
They did it like very effectively.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it was purposeful. Like, I don't think they were obviously not trying to kill their own franchise. But there's nearly like a surgical precision in how they took that series apart with one game. And like, I know there was a lot of bad will at the end of Mass Effect 3, but I thought a lot of that was kind of silly. The bad will surrounding Mass Effect Andromeda, totally justified.
I feel sorry for everyone who was working on it because it just sounds like it was a giant shit show. And I think they kind of did let it die a little. Like, a lot of the resources has gone into Anthem. They picked an engine that would support Anthem. Mm-hmm. It's like...
Well, at least that's new IP.
But it's a shooter. It's like, where's BioWare? BioWare is dead. It's just EA now. It makes me sad.
I guess they went full renegade.
Hey,
look, after the Virtua Fighter thing, I just needed a win, okay?
Yeah, a win. Alright, this next one is fucking bullshit.
ThinkGeek SNES Classic Bundles. This is a pile of horse shit.
Okay, so ThinkGeek, if you don't know what it is, I guess most Americans would know. It's GameStop, but it's GameStop with like Adventure Time Monopoly board game. Mm-hmm. Like, so it's 50% games and 50% loot.
Which is kind of what GameStop is in Ireland right now.
Yeah. So one of the GameStops in Ireland has rebranded itself as ThinkGeek, the one in Dundrum Shopping Centre.
Really?
And you go in and like 50% is like Minecraft hoodies and pop vinyls, and then tucked away in the back are the video games.
GameStop own ThinkGeek.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And so I guess this is just a way because shops need to get rid of their shit as soon as they can. And they know that people will want to buy the SNES Classic, and the best way to get rid of their shit is to attach it to a overpriced bundle with the SNES Classic. So I guess these bundles were almost double the price.
They were more. There was one that was $300 and it had a giant canvas print of Breath of the Wild with it.
Oh yeah, okay. So SNES Classic costs like $90, something in that price range. So it's definitely under $100. But yeah, you got just the shittiest shit.
It's like a Mega Man helmet, a Ryu statuette, like a little hip flask. It's just like a crap that goes on sale at Christmas time on ThinkGeek website, and no one wants it, and they bundled it in with pre-orders. Like, this isn't even out yet, but like
So
they're bundling it already.
I do feel like a bit of the blame here is on Nintendo.
Oh, yeah.
Like, well, I think the majority of the blame is ThinkGeek being a bunch of shitbags. But like Nintendo, like if they're going, basic laws of supply and demand is that, you know, if you create a hot product that people want, people should be able to buy it. Like, it's simple business. But I feel like at some point, like, it's nearly this kind of like they're really letting down their consumers, where it's like they can't get this thing and they become vulnerable to ridiculous exploitive tactics like this.
Yes.
Because, you know, all those bundles on ThinkGeek, they're all sold out. Every one of them. Like, you can't get a SNES Classic in these bundles because a bunch of like vulnerable people who really, really want this thing are willing to pay that extortive price. And then, like, if you're Nintendo, I have to wonder, look, if manufacturing is really that much of an issue, raise the price of it by $10 and produce enough of it so it's making enough of a profit to warrant more manufacturing. Like, why not just do that?
I think it's just all for the publicity that the limited edition feel of it has. Like, it gets collectors into a frenzy. It becomes a hot item.
And Nintendo have operated like that for years. Like, I remember going through this with the N64.
Do you remember when the Wii came out in December 2006 and it was such a fucking frenzy that Christmas to get it?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, GameStop, ThinkGeek, from like news stories and just from talking to people we've known who've worked in GameStop, they're a shitty company. They're not good.
It's all about profit.
Yeah. Overwatch Mercy overhaul.
Niamh, tell us about this.
So there was a developer update, and Mercy is getting an entire rework. Her ultimate ability of Resurrect is gone now. She now has Resurrect on a cooldown, so a 30-second cooldown. It can resurrect one person at a time. She's getting a new ultimate called Valkyrie, which means she can fly and she can kind of heal people at longer distances, and she gets a damage buff to her pistol and a magazine buff. So she's just like Murder Mercy now. I really hated the developer update because Jeff was just like, it was unfun. It was really unfun when you wiped a team and then Mercy reses them. But to me, like, that's good Mercy play. That's a really good Mercy play. And if you can't find the Mercy, you should have a team member on the Mercy. And I hated how he kind of was saying it was unfun. It was always unfun. Mercy was out of gameplay and stuff. We've been playing this version of her for over a year. Yeah. You know? She wasn't unfun.
I also think it's like, hey, if you're in a team fight, aim for the Mercy. That's how you fix that. Like, it's not a tactic you can't counter.
Yeah, have Sombra. You can tell when her ult's up.
Yeah. Like, the idea of Mercy with a damage buff is so lame, I think. Like, really, that sucks. Like,
it goes against her lore. She's kind of like this medic who kind of doesn't want to fight, and she only has to do in dire straits. And now she's like flying all over the map, shooting people out.
Yeah.
They don't give a crap about their lore anyway, but this seems like really... The character of Mercy is... Her core tenets have kind of been removed with this change.
The day before... I started a print for like a Mercy Res print, and then that news came out, and I was like, "Oh fucking!"
Oh really? Did you?
Yeah. I think I'm still gonna do it because I like the print, but
it's such a Heroes Never Die, such a classic.
I know it's such a Overwatch. Yeah, it's dumb. Yeah, I'm with you. It's stupid. Speaking of stupid, well, this really caught me off guard. They are remaking Secret of Mana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this game is actually going to be out on the SNES Classic as well, which is cool. And I was like, oh wow, I get to play Secret of Mana again. But they're doing like a proper 3D cute chibi sprite remake of Secret of Mana for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita.
What's your attachment to Secret of Mana, Bryan? You played it a bit?
I played it a bit and I really, really like it. And I've always wanted to really play it properly.
Yeah, total childhood sweetheart of a game for me. I love Secret of Mana. Really, it's probably the game, that and Final Fantasy VII are like the two most like nostalgic games for me. They bring me back to such a time and a place, so I feel really, really strongly about that game. Really love it. Think it's a beautiful piece of art. But I had 3 stages watching this trailer. So I open it and I click the link and I see what it looks like, and then immediately I'm like, like that sure looks like a Vita game, and it is. It's coming out on Vita.
Yeah.
Then the main character opens his mouth and like hearing his voice, it was the exact kind of voice work I really hate. You know when people overly... You know the way fucking people in dub anime overly emote all the time? So it's... I was watching a bunch of Soul Brothers videos and he pointed this out where it's like, what's happening, guys, becomes, what's happening, guys? And that's the voice work from... That's exactly what the voice work... And that sucks because it's such fucking Kingdom Hearts overly sugary voice work.
JRPG voice work.
Yeah, and that's really annoying because like Secret of Mana, it's this really beautiful game, but there's this weird edge to it as well. Like that world feels a little dangerous. Like the first thing that happens is like, you know, a big monster appears because you pull out the mana sword, and then your whole village just like turns their back on you and kicks you out, and it's like you're never allowed back here because you pulled the mana sword. And it's really like, oh shit, I'm on my own. Like it's cool.
Yeah.
And then like, so he's like, wow, I could have never done this without you guys. That's not in the original. Like there's no themes of friendship or any bullshit like that in the original. It's just three adventurers together, and it's hard and it's cool and scary. So yeah, the visuals, the voice work, that had me down. And then the thing that killed me was the music. And it was just like some just generic RPG orchestra bullshit. And it had none of the spirit of the original. And Secret of Mana, one of the best soundtracks of all time. It's fucking incredible what they did with the SNES sound chip and how they brought that to life.
Yeah, it is.
And maybe I'm being like a little bit of like a, you know, I'm being that guy with this one. Like, they've ruined it. But like, that is an incredible game. I feel super strongly about it. And I feel like the people making it don't understand what made the original good. And that's really frustrating.
Do you think you'll have the option to play it in sprite version?
No, I think this... Well, they might include like a ROM or something, but I think this is going to be a ground-up remake.
Well, at least we have it in the SNES Mini.
And you know the worst part? I'll probably buy it.
Yeah, you will.
Because I'll need to know.
It'll be a $5 someday.
That's so disappointing because I've never played it, and I was like, this is great. This is my new entry point, and now you're like, it has captured nothing.
I could be wrong, and like maybe it's going to be amazing. This was just a trailer and not even a gameplay trailer.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, but fine is nearly the worst thing you could make Secret of Mana.
I just like that it was a JRPG that didn't look like all the other JRPGs at the moment. It was a cute little chibi one.
I feel like it looks like all like the 3DS Vita JRPGs.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Like Final Fantasy Adventure, what was that one?
Oh, those ones.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy World.
Yeah.
But you know how this is kind of like
default.
But you know how this is like standalone away from anything that you don't need to.
I Am Setsuna is kind of that style as well.
Oh, yeah, that game's on the Switch too.
And then the Monster Hunter Adventures ones like that as well. So like, but you have a SNES Classic on pre-order, don't you, Niamh?
Yes.
Secret of Mana's on that. You could stick it in. I don't think you'll get super into it, but I think like you'll feel just the nice feel that game has, even if you only spend like an hour with it or something.
The music is very good. It's got it's got really, really good percussion.
Yeah.
Like it actually sounds like someone's playing the drums.
It's sad because in the article about this, they're really pushing the fact that it has new musical arrangements as a plus.
Like obviously they were going to redo the music because if it had a SNES sound chip music, that would be ridiculous. But I feel like there's ways you can update that style of music that stay in line with the original. Like the Street Fighter 4 soundtrack is a really good, where they have like, you know, real good percussion and orchestra and guitar, but they also have like 8-bit stuff layered into there, and it works really well. But it bums me out. That's a very special game, and if people have a SNES Mini on order, go straight to that thing. It's really... you just even need to play like an hour or two and you'll see it's really lovely.
And like it's got like fake 3D in it when you jump from like one part of the map to another. Yeah, like I loved all that stuff.
Yeah, it pushed the SNES hardware in such cool ways.
I'm more of a fan of Secret of Evermore, but I do love Secret of Mana as well.
Yeah, Secret of Evermore is its own cool thing. Yeah,
it has a really cool trailer. You play as a boy and a dog, but then when you go to different worlds, your dog changes. So there's a robot world and your dog turns into a robot. And there's a caveman world and he turns into like a saber-toothed dog.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never finished that. I'd like to.
Me too. I think I downloaded all these games onto like a SNES ROM years ago. And I just never finished them.
You'd never.
How long is something like Secret of Mana?
Oh, in my head it went on forever, but I think I was a dumb child. I'd say you could beat it in maybe 20 or 30 hours.
I'd say even less. I don't know if SNES games went on that long.
That's a thing I find hard to really capture when I think of old games I play, is like how long they actually were, because I like sucked ass at a lot of them.
Yeah.
So I assume they took like way longer.
Oh, it took me like a year to beat Ocarina of Time, but then when I replayed it on the 3DS, I just beat it over a weekend.
I thought Golden Axe was this insane epic. You can beat that in a few hours.
Oh, totally. No,
I was just like, what the fuck?
Secret of Mana is cool as well because it kind of has like an open world, and there's like set events that happen, but if you go to different parts of the world, they happen in different ways. So there's like 3 different ways you can get a member of your party. Sometimes it's you rescuing them, sometimes they rescue you, and
yeah, it's really clever. And it's Square Enix trying, it's standalone IP, and they're kind of trying something different with like different bits.
Really beautiful, man. Maybe I might use that release just to do a little video about it. Just fucking push it out. Just be like, this game's pretty good.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
Square Enix are freaking weird.
Yeah.
Man, like, if you look at them over the years, what an incredible output. But they are so weird. And Final Fantasy 15.
Final Fantasy 15 cross Assassin's Creed is happening right now. There's an Assassin's Creed event in Final Fantasy 15. What is going on?
When I saw that picture, and it was just like Noctis wearing the hood, and like remembering that this is the legacy of Final Fantasy crossed with my least favorite game series of all time, all I could think of was like the line, "Don't believe in anything because all your dreams will turn to nightmares."
And then I guess that brings us to our long time event. Well, not long time, but let's like give it a medium bite.
We usually like to leave something a little meaty towards the end, something to chew on a bit. And this was Polygon's article on Crunch.
Let's just say,
Niamh, why don't you lay this one up for us?
Looks like Polygon's at it again.
They put up an article called "Why I Worship Crunch," and it's an excerpt from Walt Williams' book. And this article,
his book Significant Zero,
it's just kind of shockingly pro crunch in a really manic way. Mm-hmm. And when the tweet went out with it on it, people did not respond favorably, and like rightly so, because it just came across as a supportive crunch article, which is not needed by anyone.
And Polygon does support crunch because this is their second crunch article.
Yeah. If you do a Google, like just put crunch into Polygon's own search, the first article that comes up is this one, "Why I Worship Crunch." The second one is called "Peter Molyneux is wrong about benefits of crunch ... right ? And then the other one is just kind of a neutral piece on the International Game Developers Association doing a survey about crunch. So like they've done kind of 2 "is crunch really that bad" articles, and "no, crunch is awful" articles.
Yeah, so I guess we all work or have worked in animation, and that kind of blends over with video game development, and that if scheduling is terrible, all the shit piles up at the very end of the release date, and you have to overwork your staff, and that's crunch. Mm-hmm. The deadline.
We've all had to work crunch at different points in our careers.
Usually it happens at the start of a project and at the end of a project, because at the start you've got a few deadlines that can't be pushed, and you have to research and develop your project and then deliver on a deadline that might not be realistic.
All the mistakes get made at the start.
Yes. And I think, especially with video games, you are making something from scratch almost every single time, and you've no idea if your video game is good or not, and you have to play test it for years and years with this release date looming. And I think it's very, very frequent in video game development, unless you're in like a very, very safe and secure AAA studio, that you're going to have a shitty time right before the release schedule because you have to deliver a game.
And crunch is usually it's usually unpaid, it's usually long hours, and it's usually constant for a good period of time.
Yeah.
And the problem with this article is, one of the big things for me is it framed crunch as, if you really love the project, you do it. And is it really crunch if you like the finished product? Yeah, it is. But it framed people who didn't want to partake in crunch as not passionate.
Yeah.
Like, there's an excerpt like, "It's easy to hate crunch when you don't like the end result. However, when crunch results in the game people love, then it wasn't crunch at all. It was passion." It's just like, that's crazy to me.
I agree with that for like the top 1 to 2% of people working on a project who, like, this project is their baby and they've been steering it.
Like the actual director who gets paid well.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't mind working on crunch, because of course they wouldn't. But, and like, there's a line later on where it's like, you know, maybe by working enough crunch, someday you'll be the person telling people that crunch is good. And it's like, no, because if 1,000 people work on your bloody Assassin's Creed game, not every one of those 1,000 people is going to be the head of a studio one day. Like, that's a complete fallacy.
No, they're going to be cattle in there until they quit.
Yeah. And that's the part of these that really annoy me. It's always like the game director or the game writer or someone really high up, someone who's suited to this level of working.
And isn't on the ground level at all.
Isn't on the ground level at all. And it's like, that's very frustrating, and it's a really troubling attitude given what, like, a shitty stigma there is around game development, and how people, like, you know, the coding sweatshops and all that kind of stuff, how people get really taken advantage of, and how, like, they have very bad working conditions and poor pay and all, and they're expected to do that kind of stuff. This article was taken from guys like Memoir, the book, and, you know, with that, I would say, you know, fair enough. Like, he can write whatever the hell he wants in his book, and I don't think he was even especially pleased with how Polygon took the article, because I think there's like an insert before that when he's like, okay, I'm going to talk about crunch now. I'm a broken person. I do things wrong. This isn't right. This is how I see crunch. And then he goes into his big spiel.
He clarified it on Twitter and how it was like a terrible time in his life, and it was kind of feeding into a kind of a mania he had at the time. And that wasn't included. There was no context included in the Polygon article at all.
Like, I see the blame of this squarely at Polygon, and the fact that they've published this article after publishing another one by about crunch as well. It's this really odd attitude for crunch, you know. And I think
it's just, yeah, because, like, for me, if I think of Cartoon Brew, which does a lot of articles and animation, they're very much anti-overwork or people getting taken advantage of, and sticking up for the artist.
Yeah.
And this goes, Polygon is not sticking up for the artist at all.
Polygon is out of size that it has a duty to people working in games. It should be making these better. And the fact that it's not, it's really disappointing. Like, it really makes me lose a lot of faith in Polygon. And they're a publication that things have not been super smooth for recently, and I'm really surprised to see them put an article out like this.
Yeah.
And like, we've all, you know, everyone at this table has worked on, you know, their own individual projects, like their own stuff, and I think we've all crunched on our own stuff, and I don't think any of us mind that.
No.
But that's our stuff. Like, that's completely our choice, and we know what we're getting ourselves in for.
And that was based on our strategies that didn't work out.
It's the difference is choosing between your personal life, your family, hobbies, and working long, crazy hours with no pay, or no, like, even if there is, which it usually isn't, and having to pick that because of a fear of losing your job as well. Like, it's a really insidious thing to try to have supported by a video game website.
Totally.
Polygon fucking up this year a lot.
Yeah, Polygon, they sure were riding high at the start of this year. Disappointed.
I don't think I'll be reading them anytime soon.
Guys, what say we move on into some
give a little prologue to the emails.
Sure.
We got a lot of emails in the past 2 weeks, and I just want to say, Bryan, myself, I love the email section, and I just want to thank everyone for sending in an email. It really, really means a lot.
We are now at the point with the emails, and we've kind of been there for a little while, but there is no possible way we can answer every single one of them. But if you send in a great email, there's a good chance we'll read it. And thanks to everyone who sends them in. It's really cool. Yeah. It's been really cool just to see how the podcast has kind of taken off in the last couple of months. And our listeners are really sound.
Yeah, and I just want to give a thank you to fan art that we receive as well.
Oh, yes.
Johan, thank you so much.
Was Johan the one?
Johan was the one that did the not safe for work fan art.
Johan, we had to have a meeting about that fan art and the general direction of this podcast. So congratulations. That was very special.
I got what I wanted. You got what you wanted. Yeah.
It was a piece of art that was so powerful it caused some reflection. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. If someone else wants to send in some fan art, maybe just try and keep it cute. But I do love fan art. I think it's really, really sweet. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh boy. Last episode, we put out the call for arguments for PC gaming, and Jesus, did we open the floodgates. There were so many emails and comments about the virtues of PC gaming. And so what I'm going to say now is I'm going to respond to this one email we got, and I know I had a bunch of people on Twitter even today at me about it. And I think this one covered a lot of points, and there's one or two other ones I'm gonna throw in. This one is from Mr. Funky, and it's a really well-written email. The greatest part about PC gaming is options, so naturally there's an answer to every single one of your problems. Niamh, you said that you would like to sit on a couch and game on your TV, in which you'd rather spend money on. That's perfectly fine, but you can get a HDMI cable to hook it up to the TV, use Steam Big Picture mode, and use that exactly as you asked. So we saw this argument a lot. Just get a €20 HDMI. And I just want to say, if you made that argument, I hate you.
He doesn't actually hate you.
I'm actually so grateful that you're listening to this podcast. That was just me being a little spicy, but don't worry, because that's just how Spicy Lunchbox rolls.
Yes.
I think the thing about it is, like, we all have work PCs. Like, we work off our PCs, and I would need a gigantic HDMI to plug my PC into my TV. Like, there are rooms and rooms apart.
Yeah, they're at our desks hooked up to our drawing tablets and monitors and microphones.
Yeah, and so to do that, I would need... So then the other solution is bring my PC out near my TV, and there's no fucking way I'm doing that every time I want to play 20 minutes of Battlegrounds.
I also have 2 dogs who would just kill themselves across a giant HDMI 20-meter cable. Yeah. And there's a lot of stairs.
I have no dogs, but I'm extremely accident prone and get into plenty of trouble with that apartment without a giant tripwire running through it.
Yeah, it's just a very cable intensive solution that I'm not really down with, but yeah, that is a solution, but it's not one I want to ever implement.
So then he goes on, sure, PCs are more expensive than consoles, though PCs with specs better than a PS4 are way cheaper than $1,000. In fact, here's a build for one. He links to a build. Mr. Funky, I did look at that video, and that is also building your own PC, which if I'm not willing to game on a PC, I am sure as hell not willing to build my own PC. So
I built my own PC. It was not a fun time.
See, yeah, and like maybe that comes, I'm sure that comes super naturally to people. I'm sure people see it as a kind of hobby. But the idea of putting a machine together, and I don't care how many simple tutorials, don't send them. I don't care. My time is limited, and I am not learning to do this.
Oh, do you know what? And this kind of relates back to it, because I was telling you guys, I put a 2 terabyte hard drive into my regular PS4, because the PS4 just comes with a standard 500 gig hard drive, and that isn't enough anymore. Mm-hmm. That wasn't too hard to do, but it took a whole day. I could see someone enjoying that, but...
Yeah, if you're like a hobbyist with this stuff, that probably suits you, which is fantastic. That's cool. But for us, it's not that we don't know. Well, no, it is that we don't know. But it's not that we don't think we can do it. It's that we don't really have the interest to.
I thought I might like doing it. And when I built it, the fear of frying my motherboard freaked me out so much that it was not a fun time. Like, I made it and I was just like, yeah, cool, I've built a PC. Now I know I never want to do that ever again. That sucked.
Then another argument we got a lot was Steam sales. I have to wonder, like, are people looking at stuff like the PlayStation Plus sales, which are happening every week, which are like anywhere from like 20 to 40 to 70% off games, and I've gotten some killer deals. I've gotten I've gotten €20 games for $5. I've gotten €60 games for $30. Like, I've saved a lot on those. And so I think when people push the virtues of the Steam sale, I think they are maybe not looking at both. And I go on both. I look at Steam because I do play on my laptop sometimes, and I have seen the virtues of both. And I think people are really conflating the difference in Steam. But here's another one I got a lot as well, and I think this one is kind of funny. He talks about the humble indie bundle. I could drop $10 on the horror-themed bundle and get, these are PS4 prices by the way, Dead by Daylight, $30 on PS4, Alien Isolation, $20 on PS4, Layers of Fear Masterpiece Edition, $20 on PS4, Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location, $8, Dread Out, the manga DLC, no idea what that is on PS4, Dead Age, $15 PS4, Dread Out, $7 PS4, Lakeview Cabin, $10 PS4. I've got the value of 110 plus in games for just $10. All games have mostly positive reviews, so I just saved $100. Mr. Funky, I got some bad news for you. You did not save $100. You spent $10. The only way you saved $100 is if you were going to buy and play each one of those games individually, but then saw this humble indie bundle and bought that instead. And that is actually a trip. That's actually a trick marketing or advertisements use a lot, where they're like, you saved this much. You are only saving money if all those things were things you were going to buy anyway. And in my case, there's no way in hell I'd have time to play off all them. Like, that to me would be terrible value, because I think at most I would play maybe one or two things, not because of the quality of the games, but because that's just the time I have. And so I think humble indie bundle is a really great thing, but it's kind of a frivolous expenditure, and I'm sure it's great for like if you're in college and you're low on funds and stuff like that, but that is not the same as actually saving $100 on games. So I'd say PC is way cheaper in the long run. Mr. Funky, given everything we just talked about, I gotta disagree there. And then he says, and I do think there was a point to this where it was the setup, we're kind of over-exaggerating the setup of games, which, yeah, maybe a little. And then finally he mentions that on PC you have mods. And again, this comes back to the thing, I don't want mods. I just want the game to bloody work. I don't want to have to get... and you know, that's down to the developer. Like, they should be doing good PC ports, but the fact that, and it's good that it's getting more common, but yeah.
They're just mods for fun, like extra costumes and stuff, or adding cooler textures. Like, that's cool and all, but I really want to play the game that the developer has kind of given me to play. That's how I want to review and assess a game. So I don't really use mods that often, so they're not really a pull for me. Yeah,
I want the visuals or any aspect of a game all to be tied back to the creator's vision of it. Like, I want to be delivered a singular message. And for me, mods take away on that, but that's also very much the kind of gamer I am, and I guess we all are.
Yeah.
So...
But yeah, I think PS4 is definitely our main console. Then secondary to that would probably be my Switch or 3DS or Game Boy. But like, we all do play games on our PCs.
I played Lisa on PC. I don't think
Dream Daddy.
I don't think it's an inferior way to play. I just think that when people talk about like PC Master Race, or it's like the ultimate way to play, I really disagree with that. I think it definitely suits a kind of person, but I don't see it as like objectively better unless you're taking it from one very specific perception. But I don't think it's inferior either. You better goddamn read this, because I sure as hell took a long time writing it. Cheers. Mr. Funky, as much as we may disagree, super good email. Really, really appreciated. Fair play for like so concisely putting all those points together. Another good argument I heard was this guy who I think it was in an email or Twitter, I can't remember, but sorry that I'm forgetting your name. He made the point that he likes to go on, play a game for 20 minutes, draw a little on his tablet for 20 minutes, kind of talk to his friends for 20 minutes, and that really made sense to me, because it's like just this little ecosystem he has. And
sounds like a well-balanced dude. That has a nice kind of little personal discipline about it.
Bryan, why don't you pick out an email?
Yeah, sure. Ooh, let's see what we got here. This is from Kian, and he asks, how do you watch anime? I've been going through a bit of a crisis lately due to the fact that I want to support the anime industry by watching anime legally. But looking at the different sites, it seems like these companies no idea what they're doing. I went over and watched Digibro's video on this topic, and at the end I was still left confused as to what to do, despite how well he went through it all with the different sites. At this moment, I do have a Crunchyroll Premium, and I'm glad that I can watch some of my shows, but when I found out that you guys like Scum's Wish, which is an Amazon exclusive and a show I've been wanting to watch for a while, also Soul Eater is region locked, I was pretty much forced to watch it via illegal streaming sites. Basically, what I'm trying to say to you guys is, what is your opinion on this, and how do you watch anime?
So this has been a pretty hot button topic among anime YouTubers recently. Maybe a little too much to the point I would make. But
I guess they all just want to say their bit.
Yeah, that's a different conversation. But we all pirate stuff. I pirate stuff all the time.
Yep.
And the idea that I shouldn't, the idea that out of the goodness of my heart I should be trying to support the anime industry, that's a ridiculous argument for childish people. That no industry in the entire history of the earth has ever survived on goodwill. That's not business. And you have to look at the way things are and look at the way anime publishers work and look at how studios see their audience in Japan and how studios see their audience worldwide and how that translates to the actual publishers. There's massive failings in the industry, massive giant failings that hurt every aspect of it, from the consumer to the people actually making it. Well, first of all, we live in Ireland, so however limited you feel your options are, ours are probably far more limited. Like when we went to LA and we saw like American Crunchyroll, I was like, holy shit, there was so much on it. And so, yeah, I pirate a lot of the stuff I watch. I watched it off, any of the different websites you can watch it from, and I want to be able to support it. And I do support it by spending hundreds of dollars on like the merchandise, the shows I love. I think like all of us together, we've probably spent like thousands of dollars on JoJo's merchandise.
I've definitely spent well over €1,000 on One Piece.
Yeah.
For sure. Niamh, you're like that with Star Wars?
Yeah, it's like one of the recent Star Wars thing I pirated was all of the Clone Wars TV series, because there's no way for us to watch it over here.
No.
I don't feel bad about that in the slightest.
No.
I've supported Star Wars my entire life. And even if it was something I watched that I wasn't going to support by the merch, if I watched it and I thought it was garbage, I was never going to buy anything from it anyway. You know, it was never going to get my money in any capacity. So I don't really feel bad about it, in the sense, if I pirate this, love it, I will come back to you in some way.
Yeah, totally. Like, I watched Hunter x Hunter, and then the first thing I did when I finished it was I bought like €100 Hisoka figure, because I felt strongly enough that I wanted to show my support. And that's the thing I would say to people. If you love a show, you should definitely do your best to support it. Now, if you can't afford it, I think that's okay too, because the other side of this is that, like, I know it's anime, and I know like anime is stupid and dumb in a lot of ways, but anime is also art, and things like Neon Genesis Evangelion, a bunch of shows, like, they have made really positive differences to people's lives. One particularly hard point in my life, I watched a shit ton of Hajime no Ippo, and I just went through the entire thing. There was no way for me to get that, and that really helped me a lot. And the idea that you take that away from people, you take that escapism away from people, I really feel is wrong and something I'm fundamentally opposed to. And I think the industry needs to do better by its fans and its consumers for this stuff to actually work. And I don't want to pirate this stuff. I hate going on the pirating websites, not because I feel guilty, but because they're awful experiences.
Yeah.
They're shitty, and you have to click away all the pop-up ads and all that kind of shit, and it sucks. I would love to be able to pay $10 a month for a better experience than that. And I am subscribed to Crunchyroll, I am subscribed to Netflix, I am all that stuff. But especially over here, the library is nowhere where it needs to be to support. Like, obviously I'm a kind of a different case because it's my profession to talk about these shows, but the industry has failed, and this is what it looks like when the industry's failed. You could go back 10 years in computer games and see PC gaming specifically and see the exact same thing happen with Steam. PC piracy isn't really a thing anymore because Steam did a good job of curating, well, not really curating, of actually giving an affordable, convenient solution to consumers. And if the anime industry really wants to combat piracy, they need to give an affordable, convenient solution to watchers. And this problem will never go away before that happens. Ever, ever, ever.
And I'm fundamentally just kind of pro this in general, because I don't think culture should be behind a paywall.
No, I don't think so.
I think if you can't afford it, you shouldn't be locked out of art because you don't have the financial means to access it. Like,
really 100% against that. The idea that someone couldn't afford, it would be in such a bad state that they couldn't afford a Cowboy Bebop box set, they should still be able to watch that thing, because that thing's fucking important and it's inspirational and it's great. And so Cian, you sounded a little torn up about this, and I would say don't be. This is something I would happily go toe-to-toe with anyone about. I really feel strongly about it. Art should be for people. And I've also seen the kind of argument thrown around that, like, you're hurting the animators of the show. You are not. That is not. You are hurting the license holders. Yeah. The animators got paid months in advance before the show ever came out. And they, unless they're like maybe the director, they're not seeing any bonuses from this at all.
You don't get royalties as an animator.
No, you don't.
You don't.
I've watched streaming shows of shows I've worked on. I've just watched them online because that's how I find it most comfortable to watch them. Mm-hmm. And I've just gone back and watched them just to see what the broadcast versions of them looked like. And I don't feel bad at all for doing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the process.
Yeah, and like I understand this might make some people annoyed, but I just think if you really think that goodwill is the solution to this, you really don't understand the business behind it. And I'd encourage you to look at like what happened to PC gaming and stuff like that, because the entertainment industry is so far behind the curve with this stuff and it needs to change. And I do think nearly a part of it is people need to stop defending the old system because it's garbage. Like, especially people who say like, gotta buy the Blu-rays. That's a ridiculous pipe dream. And it really hurts the anime industry because if their goal is to make a very small number of people buy the Blu-rays, they're going to make very fetishistic shows. And that's not good for anyone. Like, these shows should be real. They should have actual messages in it. They shouldn't be designed purely to appeal to consumers. Cian, go pirate some stuff, my lad. Enjoy.
Have a fun time.
Yep.
Just have some positive thoughts in your head about the shows you enjoy.
You want to pirate our podcast? Go right ahead. We've implemented a paywall yet. Oh God.
I don't expect Crunchyroll to sponsor us anytime soon, will they?
Crunchyroll will not sponsor me ever. They approached me before, and I was like, nah. Not because I've anything against them, just
that's not your style.
It's just not my style. Niamh, pick us out an email.
Okay, this is from Emmanuel.
Oh, Emmanuel.
Hey there, John, Niamh, and the rest. I just wanted to say I'm a big fan of your podcast and enjoyed every episode so far. I find your work very entertaining and enjoy hearing about your thoughts on video games, anime, and the gaming industry in general. My question is, if you could magically create a sequel to any existing game franchise with only stipulation being that it has to be an entirely different genre, what game would you create? Final Fantasy X3.
What?
Final Fantasy X X3.
But there was only
there was X2.
Yeah.
I want X3
okay,
to exist.
What genre?
Okay, so it's Yuna again. She's a songstress, so it could be like a rhythm game, but I hate rhythm games, so maybe not. Maybe a Muso game with Yuna.
Sure.
All right.
I would like to go back to that universe.
I got one.
Okay.
Paper Mario, but it's an RPG. Nintendo.
Oh. You got him.
Nintendo should make that. Yeah, I want a sequel to Thousand Year Door, like an actual sequel. Thank you.
A Halo RPG.
Danganronpa fighting game.
Oh, made by Arc System Works.
Yeah. A Legend of Goemon. Anything. Fucking give me a kart racer. Yeah, give me a card battler. Just.
You know what? Do you want a Goemon MOBA?
Life is Strange shooter.
Where you take photographs.
Yeah, anything that lets me hurt those characters.
Oh, Life is Strange, like kind of third-person action horror game.
Yeah. Done like Fatal Frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Okay, Silent Hill football game.
Yeah, so Silent Hill dating sim.
Do you like going to the park?
Oh, you're a nurse. Oh.
How come I'm the rest? Emmanuel, you're breaking my heart.
Love you, bud.
I don't love you, bud.
Love you, man.
I thought I was supposed to be the cool one. I guess all I am is a chump.
Where was that one we had about World War III?
That was our boy. I said it. Yeah,
Patrick.
Our boy Patrick.
Note: this is a bit of a heavier question than you guys usually get, so if it's easier to answer personally rather than the podcast, I'll understand. Patrick, don't worry, we dive right into the shit on the email podcast. We are the world's strongest video game / life advice podcast, so this is no problem. Hi guys, this is Patrick. Found your podcast after finding John's channel, and it's become one of my favourite podcasts in recent memory. It's helped me take my mind off a fear that I've been thinking about recently, and that fear hasn't been leaving me alone, so I thought I might as well ask this to get off my chest, as well as get some advice on it. With all the recent stuff that's been happening in the world recently regarding countries, nukes, dumb political tweets, I've had this lingering thoughts in my head about some big war, possibly World War III, could be happening sometime soon. It's a thought that absolutely scares me and has caused my anxiety levels to go through the roof for the past few weeks, mainly at night where I haven't been able to fall asleep till 4 or 5 in the morning. It scares me because there are so many things I want to do in the future, people I want to meet, places I want to go, dreams to pursue, all of that. And it's making me think that I won't be able to do that stuff because I'll either get dragged into a war or have our country attacked, causing all these dumb dreams to go out the window. Oh, there was no dumb in those dreams. Sorry, Patrick. So my question is this. What do you think is a good way to get these thoughts out of your mind, if any? I'm going on Twitter and Facebook less and avoid political news. I've also been watching YouTube videos, playing video games, and listening to music and podcasts like yours to get my mind off it for at least a little while. But it still really creeps up on me, and at night where it's hard for me to turn off my brain. I'm not expecting a surefire way to solve it, but I'm always open for suggestions. Keep on being cool and wacky as usual. We are pretty wacky.
But Patrick, I think you're cool. Okay, look, Patrick, I really like the last paragraph where you're talking about stuff that takes the worries off your mind. Like, you really do seem like you're going the positive way around this. Mm-hmm. It's okay to dwell on stuff. It's a normal human reaction. You can't be happy all the time.
I think stuff is kind of scary in general.
Absolutely.
Like, you're not wrong, but if you can waste so much time being worried about it instead of trying to just have fun and live your life with as little stress as possible. Like, anything could happen. Like, literally anything could happen to anyone at any moment.
A meteor could come through the wall and kill us all right now.
Yeah. So, don't let yourself live in that fear.
Yeah. I think even, like, say your worries about World War III, like, one thing there's two things you have to realize there. First of all, that's, like, a completely illogical fear. I really don't think World War III is going to happen. Sorry, Niamh, I don't. But also, if it did, your power to influence that in any way is completely minimal, and there's nothing you can do about it. And rather than that be a source of anxiety, I think you have to view that as a kind of release, because you have no onus in this. There's nothing you can do. Whether you pursue your dreams or not, you can't affect something that big. And I think a good skill to develop is acknowledging when you can't affect a situation and learning not to worry about it, because it is just wasted worry. If you were putting this energy into a project or something else, then at least you'd get results from it. But from this, you won't get anything. Also, just to say, Patrick, as well, it sounds to me like you might have some troubles with anxiety, because generally I've suffered a lot with anxiety over the years, and generally one thing I find is I always convince myself that this new problem is like worse than anything I've faced before, or that I'm never going to figure this out. But actually what's happening is the new problem isn't any more severe than anything I've ever faced, but it's the anxiety itself that's the problem. And I'm not seeing that because I'm worrying about the other stuff, but actually it's just the anxiety, like, in me that's bothering me. And so if you feel like it, what I'd say you should do is check out a book called Anxiety as an Ally by Dan Reichert, who's also a video games journalist. And it really helped me a lot and put a lot of anxiety issues in perspective. I think that could really help you out, and I hope it does, because that stuff's really hard and no one should have to live with it, and don't accept that your life needs to be that way.
Patrick, you're a cool guy.
I
really mean it.
Yep, totally.
Like,
it's very brave to send an email like that.
It is. It's absolutely, like, you really have a lot of stuff under control. I know it doesn't feel like it, but sending an email like that, super well worded, you absolutely do have a lot of it under control.
Just have to make a nice evening for yourself. Get a blanket and a cup of tea and a favorite movie and take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And just, take comfort in the fact that there's like 5 more President Evil sections. The best section we've ever done. We take one more?
Sleepy Nook.
Oh, Sleepy Nook.
Go for it.
How do you feel about people who make excuses for their idols whenever they get themselves into trouble? Example being the aftermath of JonTron versus Destiny debate.
I understand why people do it. but I think you can't hold your... No, you have to recognize that your idols are people and that they will make mistakes, and it doesn't always deserve to be like just forgotten about or laughed off.
This is a great place where piracy comes in handy. So you may not want to financially support something you think has a person who's a piece of shit in it. Like, maybe I want to watch the next Woody Allen movie, but I don't like Woody Allen, so I never want to give him my money. So I will torrent that. There you go.
Yeah, that's a good solution.
It depends on the crime, I guess, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Like, some people say stupid stuff and they can learn. Other people are just stupid and cruel. And I think it's up to you to find the point where you think things are unacceptable and should they get your money if they're a celebrity or whatever.
What about if it's a YouTuber who you don't like? Like, what if they've said shitty things?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't. You see, this is the thing. I wouldn't probably enjoy listening to them anymore. So I wouldn't want to listen to them anyway.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about it. Like, if I'm going to enjoy someone's content, I have to feel that they're like a decent human being and like doing some good in the world. But if they come out with stuff that I find like destructive or harmful, I would just stop.
I guess that's the difference between kind of personality based content versus an actor
you're totally right.
Something.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Like we all kind of like PewDiePie. He's cool. He's cool. I like him. I respect him.
He's fine. I have nothing against him.
But I would be super bummed now if he said something really, really insensitive.
Yeah.
Because he's such a big scope. But like, I'm sure he won't. It seems like he takes himself very, very professionally at this point in his career.
He had a whole thing recently, but he also put out a video trying to distance himself from it as well. I don't know. It's like... It's a hard one. I think you have to kind of find your own line with things.
Yeah.
So I think everything isn't black and white.
Yeah, for sure. So what happens if one of us gets into some hot water? John, I'm looking at you.
I mean, I do have some very, I'm going to call them progressive beliefs.
Yeah, like Undertale being good.
You know what we're going to fucking talk about next week? We're going to talk about the Undertale remake and Life is Strange, the new episode. I can't believe we're going to be reliving that friggin' nightmare.
Friggin'.
Undertale's a beautiful story and it changed my life. I hate you.
Did it actually change your life?
It made me super happy when I was really sad, and then you both made fun of me for it.
What a loser.
Brian, we have got a lot of emails directed at you last week, and it was from a comment Niamh made about how if you email the podcast, you would tell people what One Piece is. Will we leave this after our loot drop?
Yeah, because One Piece is at the very end.
Okay, so with that, we're going to move into our loot drop segment. Okay, I will go first, and this is a loot drop from a channel called Soul Brother, and it's a series of videos called How to Be an Online Voice Actor. It's a 5-part series, and even if you don't give a shit about how to be a voice actor or anything like that, just listen to this video for like 30 seconds and just listen to how much he knows about voice acting and about how well he puts it together. Like, this guy makes sound engineering as entertaining as just like a movie review. Cool. Like, he's really, really cool. And he's also a YouTuber who's been plagiarized from a bunch of times. He's a kind of, I'm not going to say smaller channel because he has 30,000 subscribers, but like in the grand scheme of YouTube, that's not a huge amount. And a lot of bigger channels like Ouija Plays has directly ripped off his stuff, and in a lot of times like misinterpreted the message behind it. And I really, anytime I get a message from anyone asking about sound stuff, I send them to this guy. He's really, really good, really excellent. And he also does some really funny, like, mockumentary kind of stuff. He has a really funny one about if Kurt Cobain was still alive. And he has another one about, like, a professional AMV maker called, like, George Uchiha. And he's just a very passionate person who puts out a lot of really weird projects and very worth checking out. The name of the video series is How to Be an Online Voice Actor.
Mine is by Byfear, and it's the complete story of Destiny. It's an 1.5 hour long epic explaining all the lore and all the backstory you're going to need to know to get into Destiny 2.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the game's production, and I gave a shit there for a minute.
No, it's all the in-game lore. Well, anyway. It's all the lore that should have been in the game, but wasn't in the game.
I don't know if we'll get
time. Grimoire thing, is that it?
I don't know if we'll get time to link that or not, but anyway, Brian.
a guy compiled it all, and it's just like he's done such a good job on it. He's such a good voiceover for it, and it's brilliantly cut. It has me super hyped for Destiny 2, and that's happening in less than a week.
Wow.
I know.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Then mine is Cuphead's animation process and philosophy.
Oh, wow.
This was at GDC last week. They had one of the animators and character designers from Cuphead, because Cuphead's out in like a couple of days now, I think. Like, it's finally out on PC and Xbox. And yeah, it's just a 30-minute breakdown of the animation process, and he's worked in 2D animation. He's done a lot of Flash shows, and I also think Harmony shows, because he's done a lot of Canadian shows because he's a Canadian animator. But Cuphead was properly traditionally animated with pencil and paper.
That's insane.
Then
really?
inked and then scanned. And I love Rubber Hose animation. I love Fleischer Brothers animation, and it's really interesting to hear someone talk about it and trying to get those references and, you know, working into video game character design and animation.
Sure. Bryan, you mentioned on the podcast a little earlier about all the games you're excited about in September. You want to give us a quick rundown?
Danganronpa 3.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
The SNES Mini, because these are all out in September. And there's something else that I can't remember. And I know it's something cute. Oh, wait. The Metroid game on the 3DS.
Oh, sure.
The cutest game.
That's cute.
Okay, good listener. Well, Bryan...
No, I just wanted to loot drop that because we get a lot of animation questions, and I'd like to redirect them to some nice animation videos.
Okay.
And this is one of them.
Okay. So Bryan is now going to give his 100% guaranteed rock solid theory on what One Piece is, which is definitely going to be the case. So if you don't want 100% true One Piece spoilers, you got to go right now. You got to get out of here, buddy.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Bryan, what is One Piece?
Can I talk a little bit beforehand about this?
No one can stop you. This is your section. Just take the floor.
Okay, I'll talk for about 5 to 10 minutes about this. Sit back, both of you. Alright, so this video will probably be published on YouTube on either the 1st or 2nd of September 2017. This video will probably be remaining on YouTube for at least 10 more years. So I'm hoping that in 10-15 years time, when One Piece is ended and we actually know what One Piece is, we can go back and listen to this and see if I was right. I'm 99% sure I know what One Piece is. If I'm incorrect, I hope it's something better than this.
You should agree to send all our listeners $1 if you're incorrect in 15 years.
$1's a bit extreme.
If I'm
I don't think it's extreme enough.
I know. Look, I'm pretty confident I know what it is.
$1 confident?
Not a whole $1. It's a lot of money.
How many listens do we get a month now?
We can't say that. That's private.
Why?
40.
Yeah. That's $40. I'm not giving that. That's a lot of money. That's like a humble indie bundle. That's a couple of humble indie bundles right there, my friend.
60.
Okay, I'm delaying this, but that's because it's funny. All right.
But there's nothing funny about.
I'm assuming that whoever's listening to this reads One Piece or knows a lot about One Piece. I, Bryan, on Let's Fight a Boss cast, think that One Piece is Gold Roger's captain's hat. Think about it. Okay. One Piece, the legendary treasure One Piece, belonged to Gold Roger, also known as Gol D. Roger. And he left it on an island at the very end of the Grand Line called Raftel. Nobody can go to Raftel because you need certain coordinates that opposing factions have. Gol D. Roger was able to get to Raftel, and that's where he made his mark as the Pirate King. Oda, the creator of One Piece, has also said that One Piece is a physical object. It is not a metaphorical, oh, it was the journey all along. So I think on Raftel there is a pole, and hanging on that pole is his captain's hat. Roger wears the captain's hat in flashbacks, but when he's executed and when he's in Impel Down, he is not wearing the captain's hat. So he left it behind after his journey on the Grand Line. When the Gold Roger Pirates, what I can't remember what his pirate crew is called. I think they're just called the Gold Roger Pirates.
I think so.
So his first mate was Silver's Raleigh, and Shanks and Buggy were also very, very junior crew members. But I think there's a flashback chapter where a lot of the crewmates are talking about what they refer to as treasures, and it's always something personal. And I think Gold Roger's treasure is something personal. It's not gold. It's not something of actual like serious value, but rather personal value. And the whole thing of the theme of hats fits in perfect with One Piece, because Luffy is wearing a straw hat that belonged to Shanks, that originally belonged to Goldie Roger. And Luffy doesn't own the straw hat. He purely has it on loan from Shanks, and he will have to return it to Shanks at some point, but that won't happen because Shanks will die, because Blackbeard will kill him, but that's a whole other theory. So Luffy will have to pass it on to the next generation. But Luffy, when he becomes the Pirate King, will wear Gold Roger's hat.
That sounds like some sound reasoning.
Yeah, like I think the storytelling in One Piece is really, really tight. And this fits in completely in that narrative of passing down a legacy. Now, when you flip the hat upside down, sewn into the hat are blueprints for an ancient weapon. It's not out of the ordinary for a character to have blueprints for an ancient weapon in their clothes. Frankie had ancient blueprints in his underwear for about 20 years. Like, all the logic is there. Like, this isn't... I've really, really thought about this. If it's something better than this, that's cool, but if I was writing One Piece, this is what I do. I also think that nobody else in the world of One Piece would appreciate that treasure except for Luffy. Luffy would totally get it. He'd see that and think that was fucking brilliant, and he'd wear the hat and he'd call himself King of the Pirates. So that's my theory. What you think?
I think it's friendship.
Yeah, me too.
It's not fucking friendship.
Definitely is.
I think Nami's going to be so pissed when it's a fucking hat.
So there you have it, folks. $1 for every listener, if that's not true. You've heard it here.
All 40 of you.
Yeah.
We have so much more. Why are you making it sound so small?
Okay, we've got 72 now, don't we?
Yeah.
72.
People can see the view count on... No, it doesn't matter.
They can see the view count on YouTube, and they can see the view count on SoundCloud, but they cannot see the view count on iTunes.
That's the big one.
It's the big one. I'll finish this off. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this week's episode. Thank you for finishing it to the very end. For listening to me talk about One Piece. Niamh certainly enjoyed it.
It was the best moment of my life.
John?
I genuinely enjoyed it. I like hearing Bryan talk about One Piece.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just ask him questions because I like the sound his voice makes when he talks about it. He's very fond of it.
I love One Piece. I think about it a lot. Like, I think about it a whole fucking bunch.
Okay.
It's really, really important to me.
It is. It's a great series. That's going to do it for episode 57 of the Let's Fight a Boss video game podcast. I think that was the strongest episode I've ever done. Best? I don't know. Strongest? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Strong and dumb.
Niamh, take us out here.
See ya.
Demon,